So this is a tarot deck. This is an oracle deck. So it is the goddesses of this practice to complement the tarot deck. From Manuela 2023. Manuela 2023. I'm just shuffling it.
What is it?
It's the devil.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Manuela Method. Today I'm here with Kandyce Jewel, and I could not be more honored with your presence today. Today we're going to be doing something I've never done before, and it's not kissing a girl for anybody wondering.
No! Lesbian's worst fear.
Should I clear that up? That like
No. Lesbian's worst fear is straight woman saying she's gonna kiss a girl. Lesbian's worst fear.
Oh no.
Let's do it.
So today I'm really excited actually because we are going to be doing something that I've never done before, which is having a tarot card reading. I've never had a tarot card reading. I've never done a reading of any kind. But I wanted you to kind of introduce yourself because you do tap into a lot of different things on social media as a creator, and I want to give you the space to really kind of dive into each one of those.
Thank you. So my name is Kandyce Jewel. I would consider myself a content creator, self-published author, actor, model, spiritualist, mental health advocate, and a proud person of the LGBTQ community. So,
woo! And just on top of all that, she's freaking gorgeous.
No.
Crazy.
No,
like
you're gorgeous. Beautiful people surround themselves with beautiful people and energy, period.
Okay, thank you guys for coming here. That's really all you need. That's the only lesson that you need from this.
Have fun for the 50-second podcast.
You're like, you better have watched this one. It was 50 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys.
The attention span is minor. Yeah.
Minor. So I really want to get into your journey because with this podcast, my journey spiritually has aligned a lot with the process of creating, developing, and putting out this podcast. So I think that it's a really beautiful thing to be able to, through my passions and the avenue that I'm creating for us to have these conversations, to have somebody as yourself that is also experiencing or has experienced their own journey and kind of share that with our audience here.
Of course, yeah.
Because I think that one of the best things about this platform is being able to share our experiences and create a collective consciousness over universal truths, you know? And I find it so fascinating that your level of self-awareness allows you to not only tap into yourself, but tap into other people and help them on their journey. And I'm like, let's get you to help the world.
Let's do it.
Okay. So for you, when would you say that your spiritual journey kind of started for you?
So, I want to say when I was younger, it was more so of my eldest brother. His name is Keith. He is a psychic medium, but he knew his gift early on, like a kid, obviously, because in spirituality, I do believe, you know how people say dogs see things, cats see things, babies see things, because one thing about it is that innocence is so precious to where you're not hindered by the world's views, that you're actually very open-minded. So for him, he saw a lot of things growing up, like dead people. He could tell if someone was it was just like a lot of things. And when I came into the world, he had like this utmost, he felt like responsibility to take care of me. And he would always say, you are just like me. Like, you are just like me. And I didn't realize that until I started seeing things. But it was more so of I shut it off at a young age because I'm like, there's a man right there. Don't want to deal with it. Thanks. Shut it off. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. My mom helped him and hindered him. It is like a 50-50 thing. But to realize, like, she sent him to church because she didn't know what it was, the prophet, blah, 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 right. To where he was able to find his standing in the world with, I have a gift and I'm going to use it. And so she kind of watered him. I didn't get any watering, so I shut it off because I was like, I see how their relationship went, which was south. And I was like, I don't want my relationship to go south. Was it because of his ability? No. Obviously, I was younger. I didn't know. So a lot of things came into perspective of I shut it off, moved with my dad, and I lived with him. And in his energy field, when you have someone who's so open to just everything, you feel it too, especially if it's your brother, sister, whatever. It's kind of like you're sharing the same, I want to say, like, space, obviously. and energetic field. Like where he is, I am. It's like it's fucking crazy. So
Well, do you mean like, because I've always thought of people as almost like beacons, like how,
like
how we,
beacons of light. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So it's like I almost think about it like we are transmitting a signal at all times, and when we
Gets
come
attracted.
well, and when
Yeah.
we come together with other people, like we almost magnify that that signal, especially if it's like on the same wavelength.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly.
So, oh my god,
Exactly. She's so right.
Oh my god, I feel like I need a gold star.
You do. Do we have a gold star? We'll get it for lunch.
I'm like I am a teacher's pet. But that to me has always been something that I have noticed. It's like, and we talked about it, like with the conversations I was having last night with somebody, it's like when two people or people that align on that same wavelength, there's a multiplication that happens, which is more attractive.
Like a multitude, yeah.
And if you are open to it, it can be really crazy. And I think I even brought up to Anna one time that like, it makes sense how there are psychics that'll get together and they'll almost like amplify.
Yes, healing energy. Yeah,
and like for different reasons. But it's like if you really think about energy and you know that energy is fact, like energy is fact.
It's scientific fact.
It's scientific fact. Then
scientific
it's
fact.
science. This is literal proof of the science.
Manuela Method, come on.
Get with it. But because it's fact, that's something that I think I love to really pinpoint, because people start to think when I say the word energy, I'm talking about something that is not
visible to the eye
or tangible or like or a fact, like an actual thing that is happening. And
that's why when people say like, when I bring up astrology into it, they're like, oh no, it's like the planets have nothing to do with me. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like this earth is made of 75+% of water, and it's affected by the moon. We're so minuscule, and we're made up of mostly water too.
Yeah.
You're
like, what do you think?
You don't think we get affected by the planets and the energy they give off?
Yeah. Science.
And it's science. It's science. It's literal scientific proof.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to derail you too much from your story because I want to go back into it. So when you were with your dad, you felt
amplified.
that amplification.
Yeah.
And did you feel at that point in time that you were wanting to unlock?
Of course. Yeah. No, I definitely bought tarot cards when I was younger.
And what age were you, if you mind me asking?
I was in 6th, 7th grade. How old would you be in 6th or 7th grade?
Like
11, 12, and then I got held back in 7th grade. So I was about that age, but
And you were doing tarot cards then?
Yeah, just because I was curious.
And you were also surrounded by that.
By the energy, but I was also curious because I was like, why is it coming to me? Why? Like I would have friends not want to sleep over my house because they would see things and feel things. So I'm just like, like, come on. So I shut it off.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want this to hinder me. I want to have a sense of community and be not normal, but I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Years go by, trauma happens. And so where I was like in a place where I had no faith. My mom was Christian. Again, like after that, she became Christian. So anything I did with this, or even my brother, devil, dark stuff. So
that had to be crazy though for your family.
It was awful. Yeah, no, it was
like, I mean, that had to be something like structurally speaking, like kind of rearranged things.
Your belief, yeah, of course, yeah. But my mom went to Christianity more so because she got us taken away from her. So it was the only faith, because she went to a Catholic place. They didn't like take her in or pray for her. But the Christians, which I'll give it to the Christians, is they accepted her.
Yeah.
They said, we'll pray for you and we'll love you and we'll help you, which is where her faith began.
Yeah.
So I can't like knock her down when like I've had an open conversation with her. I understand her viewpoint and how I got to spirituality, not like a religion, but more of an energy and a love and an understanding of you treat people how you'd want to be treated. It says it in the Bible, and I understand the life lessons that you implement to become a good person, but it just didn't align with me. It just didn't feel right to just be like, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm spiritual and I love people and that's it. There's no like black or white. It's just right there in your face. So
I feel like I'm very much aligned with that too. I grew up Catholic, and I also feel like there was, for me, I almost understand religion. I almost understand religion now that I'm spiritual.
Yes. Yeah. Because you can see the perspective of, if we didn't have faith in the world, everyone would be killing each other. They would be unaliving themselves. They would be doing things because to imagine you are on this planet by coincidence kind of just like fucks with a human's head, because there's only so much we can know without the world imploding.
Right.
So to have other people bring in religion is like, it's a beautiful thing that there could be a community of people that believe in something. No one's right and no one's wrong. It's just like you love, and that's how you learn to love.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like my views on religion have, the beautiful thing I think about becoming more self-aware and becoming more spiritual is that I have less hindrance on my beliefs. Like I allow myself to believe whatever I'm going to believe because I believe it.
More open, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm totally open, and like my views on religion have really fluctuated. And I took a trip recently to the Middle East that like we kind of went through the Bible, right?
Wow,
and that totally unlocked like that on another level we need to get into, just like religion
that's
itself.
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And now I see things just so much more like everything is source energy, right? Like we all go back to source energy. And when I really think about it, I do see the purpose of religion, because I think to myself, okay, this is the way I see the universe. I see the universe as Sam's. Okay, we got a Sam's Club, right? But then people want to make religion and they give you a Walmart.
Okay, yeah.
So they take something that you could have access to, like like you could have access to all of it, but they kind of water it down and give you almost like sample sizes.
Yeah.
Things enough where you can like
digest it.
Yes, very digestible, keeps you feeling like you have that faith, and it also puts you in a position where you're working towards your faith. And I feel that when you're spiritual and you don't have like a religion or a church, you have to be the one creating that pace. Exactly. Like you have to be the one actively working.
You're your own church.
Literally. So I do see that there is a functionality to religion. And I do think that when people are like, where do I start? I'm like, something that gives you faith. Yeah. Whatever gives you, wherever you can find faith in something, and then find faith in yourself, because ultimately you have to have faith that you're going to be able to commit to the religion, right?
Yeah,
or like
course.
you have to believe in yourself enough to want to do this for yourself.
Of course. Yeah.
But I do see that. So, but it has to be very difficult to go from a spiritual place to then be like, almost in my opinion, I would almost be like, wait, are we regressing to religion? Like, like how could you accept me then and now it's bad? Like as a child, that had to be really rough to like have to navigate, especially when you're coming into these like gifts and not really knowing like if it's a right thing or a wrong thing to go into.
Yeah.
So how was the relationship with your parents after that? Was it with your dad, you were currently living and kind of exploring those gifts?
Yes.
And then with your mom, it was kind of like the opposite now.
So the thing about that was I didn't explore anything with either of them because they were divorced. So it's not like they gave me an open hand. My dad is Jewish, but he never implemented like, Hebrew school, anything like that. When my parents were together, it was more so, Cecilia, you give them what you want, because, he just didn't care about the religion. He thinks we came from aliens and that's his own thing. So it's like, it doesn't really matter, Sethy.
Yeah.
So coming into all of that, I think it was more so of, not the hindrance, but the way Christianity was viewed for me back then was I was gay. And that was one of the biggest blows I think I've ever experienced as a young person. For example, my mom would always send me to counselors for my sexuality. Dude, like 1, 2, 3. To where this one time, this guy sat me down, older gentleman, had like 5 Bibles in front of him with different like in Hebrew, in English, and he says, I forgot, it was Exodus something. He was like, gays go to hell. Like that's pretty much. He didn't say just gays go to hell, but he pretty much was like,
here's the
homosexuality. Evidence. Here's every Bible in the world, and I kind of just looked at him and I was like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. I don't want to be a part of this religion. And it's not the religion that makes it bad. It's the people who love the religion that make it bad. I'm not saying love in like a light way, because love can be toxic. Love can be dark, and love can be all those other things. So that's kind of when I was like, all right, I need a, young age, 14, 15, I need to back up and I need to reevaluate myself. So through then, I started having relationships with other women, girls at the time. And I learned many lessons, but I wasn't enthralled in my spirituality. I was kind of just going through the motion. I don't believe in anything. I'm going through my life. High school was interesting. So it was more so of, my wake-up call through that was being in an abusive relationship, having narcissistic girlfriends, to where I was like, fuck, like, I'm obviously doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? But it wasn't what I was doing wrong. It was what I wasn't finding out about myself. I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't healing myself, to where I would ask my dad at the time, and I was like, I want to go to therapy, because I don't see myself going into a good direction mentally. And I was like telling the universe, I go, if you're real, let me test you. Don't test the universe. But I was like, let me test you. I want a spiritual therapist who is a part of the LGBTQ community and who knows me.
I just got chills.
Come on. How the fuck would the universe be like, yeah, Kandyce, I hear you. Let me do that. Obviously, no therapist would know me because you get to know a therapist by talking to them. But I didn't want to relive my trauma, relive my parents' divorce. It was just too much to
have to go through.
Mentally go through again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was at Chuck E. Cheese with my stepmom.
No way.
And I tell her this again because I was like, I feel like I need to say it again. And I was like, Terry, I want this. She goes, oh, why don't you just go see Terry again? I was like, Terry, who the fuck is Terry? And she was like, she's a spiritual therapist you had when you were a kid.
I'm telling you.
Who knows a file of your entire family.
I have chills.
And is a part of the LGBT community. I'm sorry. And I looked at her in Chuck E. Cheese and I said, make an appointment for me.
That's crazy.
And that was 4 years ago.
That's crazy. But okay, this is so wild because I also had a very similar situation with a therapist too.
Tell me.
So my ex and I, we went through, it was a few years back, honestly, probably around 4 or 5 years ago.
That's so crazy.
No, that's why it's so crazy. It's crazy. I literally need to look up the dates because it weirds me out. So 4 or 5 years ago, we went through this like stint where like things were kind of weird. And I was like, again, going into the whole, like, I give 110% because I know that it's not me. Like I am enough and I will always give more than enough so that I can walk away.
But why do you give so much?
Oh no, that's a whole nother thing.
Okay, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
We can get into my abandonment issues in the next segment for sure.
Same. Knuckle touch, hell yeah.
So at that point I was like, you know what? Let's go to therapy. I said, you know what? Let's go to therapy. And that's something I recommend for all couples because monogamy in itself is a wild ride. It is a decision that you have to make that is, you are actively going to continue to work on that for the rest of your life. And that's a beautiful challenge to take on.
Yes.
But you have to understand that's a beautiful challenge you're taking on. And so I was very open to getting therapy and I was like, let's do it. So the one thing I wanted was somebody who was spiritual because I also felt like that was an aspect of me that was not connecting with him. And I felt like he was not listening to the insights that I had because he didn't understand the awareness that I had. So, and going back, we discussed how people will only understand you to
the capacity that they can understand themselves.
Exactly. Yes. So we were going through that and I literally found a therapist, right? That was super spiritual. We went a few times. Tell me how, like, we went a few times. Everything was great. When I had my breakup, the one that I was telling you about that it was like life altering, I was like, let me look her up and see if I can maybe go back to her. She was a catalyst for so much change that happened.
Love it for you, yeah.
Bro, you have no idea. I can't even like specify right now on camera because
we'll talk after.
Yeah. But like, I mean, you guys will find out eventually, but I can't tell you right now. But it's kind of crazy because it literally was a whole catalyst for all my journey. But it was a spiritual person who already knew me. I didn't have to go through them getting to know my past with my ex because she had met him.
Already knew,
and already knew him. And it was just, that's such a weird thing.
It's like that's why I feel like it's like a timeline with people. It's a reflection of yourself. And it's like, that's why deja vu is so weird. Bro, yeah.
You know what's even crazier too? I like never have deja vu. And the conversation I was telling you about last night where I was like talking to somebody that I felt very like on the same wavelength as, I did not stop having deja vu. And I never have it. Like I never do. And I'm like, this is crazy. But what does deja vu necessarily like mean?
So I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this because it's confusing in a way because you've already experienced it, but you're just catching up with it. So the way that I put into perspective that kind of freaks me out is that everything is already happening. It's already happened. So you married someone, it already happened. It's in a different timeline. So you're just catching up with yourself. So it's kind of like, you know, in Mario Kart, I don't know if you play video games. Okay. Okay, good. You know when back then there was a level where you could be another ghost?
Yes.
So you would have to beat yourself.
Yes.
I view it like that.
You know what's so wild is that I refer to a lot of stuff in life as video games. Specifically
life is a
Mario.
Stimulation. Yeah, life is a stimulation.
That's so funny.
Stimulation. I'm a simulation.
Both, honestly.
Depending on who you're with.
Yeah, literally. No, but that's actually so crazy that I literally refer to it the same. But it is really interesting because I always say the same thing. I say, I can rest easy knowing it's already happened. That's the thing I always repeat to myself when I start to get worried or start questioning, are things going to work out or whatever. It's like, I don't have to worry about it. It's already happened in the future.
Already, yeah.
Like, because I've decided today that it's going to happen,
it's going to happen.
The timeline is already set in motion. Like, I've already, that's confirmed. I don't have to be stressed about it right now.
Yeah.
Because the more I stress about it now, the further I push that away. Right?
Because you're not living in the present tense of now. Yeah.
Oh my God. The key is literally the present. Like,
it's being grounded. So what can happen will happen. Because if you're living in the past or the present, you're missing out on what's happening, the blessings you're receiving now.
Yeah.
Which could can never change your past, but it can change your future immensely if you're not in the now. That's why with like suffering from anxiety, it's hard to like put myself back to, don't worry about what happens next month, because next month's gonna happen no matter what, and then you can worry about it. It's more so like enjoying the moment you have with people and the energies you interact with, and just like being okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you're
being
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, which is, we have so much to talk about, but I want to keep going into your spiritual journey. So, so out of high school, where did you find yourself in this path? Like, when did you feel like this is?
I didn't. It was more so of seeing people around me fall from drugs and abuse, to where that's when I went to my therapist, because I'm like, I don't want to do it too. I don't want to get into the same implementing.
So you felt like you kind of like what we were talking about, almost you get to like the lowest point where you're like.
I was at my lowest point. Yeah, I was on. I never said this to a lot of people, but I did Xanax for a couple of months because I was just so numb, to where, and this is like a safe space, to where I was sexually assaulted by a woman.
Wow.
A woman.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. So that was my point where I woke up and I was like, wow.
Like,
this is the path I will lead myself if I don't fucking heal. And this is like 19-year-old me trying to figure that out, to go to therapy and talk about what's happened to me in my past, with a lot of other stuff like that.
So would you say that that incident was the final tipping point for you to start your spiritual journey?
Yeah. So after everything happened with that, I kind of like, stopped with the Xanax, cut that woman out of my life. And, like I said, the calluses of going to Chuck E. Cheese with my stepmom and saying, this is what I want. And so my therapist was kind of like, sat me down on her couch, reiterated what I want, made sure that I wanted spiritual, like, not like there's like different aspects of therapy, which there is, but in a spiritual aspect, asking permission, because she gave me the analogy of, there's a leak in the roof. Do you just want to like change out the paneling, even though there's still a leak? Or do you want to take out everything on the roof, take out the plumbing, and redo everything, rebuild everything? She goes, that one takes a lot longer, but it's worth it at the end because there's not going to be a leak. Right. And I was like, let's fucking do it.
And even I would even take it a step further. Something that I see reflected in just what we've been doing here with the podcast, and like having to take responsibility for all aspects of what you create.
Yep.
So it's like if you're creating the roof that you reside under, you know what that's made out of. When something goes wrong, you know what materials you need to swap out, right?
Exactly.
So there's that level of like, yeah, it takes a lot more work, but you're an expert on that roof now. You're an expert on yourself, and no one can take that away from you. And you can only become more of an expert.
120%.
That's a beautiful thing, though. That's a beautiful way for her to have said that.
Yeah, I love her. She's not going to say this, but she's absolutely astonishing to know what my family went through, and the diagnosis within my parents, my siblings, to know that I started off with that present moment of who I dated, what happened, blah, 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 blah. So it was to the point where she would keep telling me, like, hone in, Kandyce, like, I see a gift in you. You're like, she didn't say you're just like Keith. She was kind of say, you have your own gift because you have innocence. She goes, no matter what you've been through, how many times you think your innocence was taken away, she would tell me it's still there. My therapist, what you said, she has the gift of being able to amplify yourself. Remember how you said, like, you felt like you were in the corner, you could go there, you could go there. She can, when she closes her eyes, go back.
That's crazy.
The gift of just like reconciling what you went through. And then she'll come back to me and she was like, this is what you need to learn. This is the lesson. Like, I don't want to say like a cheat code, but I have someone in my life who has helped me realize that tarot, and I don't see dead people, but tarot and your intuition, which everyone has an intuition. people just don't believe in themselves enough to trust it.
Well, that's what we were just talking about off camera, where it's like with my own spiritual journey, something I realized coming to, well, I can tell you, I guess I'll fill you in, but like coming to like my DMT trip was like that confirmatory, like, no, all the spiritual stuff that you've known, all the self-awareness journey that you've been on has been valid. But there's people in your life that are so scared of doing the same for themselves that they will write it off as like wrong and very scary, and they won't want you to do it either, because we're all mirrors. So if you start to work on yourself and somebody really close to you sees that you're working on yourself, it's like, are you gonna work on yourself? And if they don't want to, they're gonna want you not to.
Yeah. That's how my last relationship ended, was because I was so spiritually in tune. I was like, I need to get this shit done. What I said about my teacher off camera was in Atlanta, and I wasn't aligned. And I was like, I have to go home, whatever. So it's like aligning yourself with people. I don't want to say everyone has to have the same moral compass or stuff like that, but you know, people that you can grow from, learn from, but not in like a selfish way, in like a way of like, I love you so much and you're me. Like so I want to make sure we're doing good together. Kind of thing.
And with the intuition thing, it's like we all do have that, right?
Of course.
And again, like there's gonna be people in your life that don't like that your intuition is going to be inconvenient for them.
Yeah.
Because it's not always your alignment. The universe is always gonna give you what you need, not always what you want.
Yeah.
Like that's always the case. You will always get what you need, but not always what you want. Usually it's not what you want. It's always gonna be what you need though. And a lot of times what we need are inconvenient for ourselves and other people, especially other people. And like sometimes it's boundaries. Boundaries can be very inconvenient, especially to the people closest to us. No, it's crazy. And like, again, I only say these things because I've gone through them, right? I only talk from my own experience because I also know, well, and I know that I am no different than every other person on this planet. I'm cut from the same material. So I know if I've experienced this, or I've experienced a level of self-awareness that has now brought me so much more just happiness overall, then it's like, I know that everybody can achieve this because I'm no different than anybody else.
Wow,
But that's really crazy. So when it came to intuition, I know for me, it was something I always felt very in tune with. But again, the people closest to me, unfortunately, I allowed to cause doubt in my abilities. And when I say abilities, I don't mean like I'm not the professional here, like I'm no psychic, but I just mean abilities in the sense that we all are connected.
Of course,
we're all connected. And if you think to yourself like I'm not, there's a huge opportunity for you to learn that you really are. Like you have the people that think that they have zero spirituality are the people I get most excited about, because you're like, you have the whole spiritual world to dive into. Like you have so much to grow from. But when it came to intuition, what were your guiding lights to really honing that in and kind of like allowing yourself to listen to your gut?
Yeah, so I don't have like a story like this is what happened. It was more so of just I wanted to grow. I wanted to love better. I wanted to treat myself better, and within debunking like everything I thought I was, it allowed that beacon of light to shine brighter.
And what do you mean debunking everything you thought you were?
So I mean, of course we all have critical thoughts of ourselves. I have a Virgo moon. So that plays into the part of I'm always thinking, and now I'm always like saying, you could have done this better, you should have did this, you should have taken that road instead of that road, you messed up. It's not, I still talk to myself like this. It's not, oh, well, this happened for a reason. It's, this shouldn't have never happened in the first place. It's like a control thing, which I'm still trying to deal with, because I had lack thereof growing up, no choice in anything. So now as a young adult, it's more so of, I want to do everything, and if it's not this way, it's the wrong way.
Right. It's like overcorrecting.
Yeah, it's overcorrecting. So that's something I'm learning. It's not like it's not like I'm intuitively like had a breakthrough. It was more so of once you love yourself more and grow and learn and surround yourself with beautiful people, energetically wise, it'll come. So I'm blessed enough to know that I had a gift early on because of my brother to reaffirm that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
for real.
It's people, when they think of tarot cards or anything like that, it's devil's work. You shouldn't be touching on things we shouldn't know about. But there was disciples. There was Jesus. There was people who did the same thing I am doing, but because of the age we're in, it's deemed bad.
Well, and again, I think it still goes back to what's convenient, what's inconvenient.
Exactly.
It's like to now have to explain this. Like, let's say like the church is like, okay, yeah, tarot cards are back in. We're all good now. But it's like we've been doing something else for so long.
Yeah.
That it's like, wait, how do we now go almost back on what we have been saying when we finally have people that trust us to this degree doing the things that we've been doing?
Exactly.
But the beautiful thing about spirituality is that it has no bounds. It like the beautiful aspect of spirituality, the thing that draws me in the most, it's like its ability to just be. Like if you're a spiritual person, you can almost like allow everything to come in and out without feeling like it has to sit in a box. Like, or that there's labels that you have to put on things. Like if there's you're always just going to be your guiding light, right? Like, and again, tapping into your intuition, which for me, I know that it was mainly experience. Yeah. Mainly experience and practice. And then like the trust in yourself is really hard.
Oof, yeah.
It's really hard. Like to trust the universe is one thing, but before you can even trust the universe, you have to trust yourself. And again, you can't trust yourself really if you don't love yourself, because you're not going to really trust people you don't love, right? Like I feel like that doesn't work.
It all comes from self.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah.
And unfortunately, for me, it happened too, where I had to get to my deepest, darkest point in order to say, I don't want to know what's past this.
Yeah. No.
Like it gives me chills even think about it. I'm like, the pain I felt, I can't imagine a pain deeper than this. Yeah. And at that point, I know that the pain that I'd be causing is on myself. Yeah. Like I would be the one doing it to myself now. And so I got to that point too, where I'm like, holy crap. And that's kind of where this podcast really, I felt driven to really do, because I'm like, people shouldn't have to get to their lowest moment to start to experience a spiritual awakening that will make them the happiest that they'll ever be.
Period.
But I also feel the value in experiencing that depth.
Yes.
And I think that unfortunately we're all bound to feel that depth at some point.
It's in the cards, yeah.
But I also don't feel that it's a necessary step for everybody to take in order to open up to the happiness that they can have when they dive into themselves, start to love themselves enough to respect themselves, respect the decisions they make, respect their gut and their intuition. And now they are their own guiding light into what their alignment is for the rest of their life. And they don't have to seek somebody else to guide them. They can now enter any religion or any church and know that they can accept the source energy messages, and you are still your own guide. Yeah. Right. And I think that the beautiful thing, I guess it's really like everybody's path is different. But for me, it's so interesting to have had almost like such a crazy, like your brother being so crazy in tune on like such a like different level.
Insane, yeah.
Like I can't imagine what that was like growing up, because for me it was like my mom was always into like angel numbers and like angels and stuff, but and we always had like talks about that, but I never was super, I don't know, like exposed to somebody like that. Yeah. And I always wonder, because growing up, and now I feel like we can slowly start to get into a little bit about me, since you are going to do my tarot card reading. Yeah. But for me, I also had a lot growing up where I had a lot of weird things happen to me very young.
Correlation, yeah.
Like when I was really little, I was about 2 years old, still living in Colombia with my family. And my mom would tell me that I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like playing. Like it would be like 2, 3 in the morning. I would just be like playing in my room, and she could hear me like talking and playing, whatever. And she would come into my room and there'd be nobody there, obviously. And I would tell her that I'm playing with like, I think she said 3 kids, like 3 other kids. And my mom's like, okay, what is this?
Imaginary friends.
No, literally. And then it gets weirder.
Yeah.
So my mom then, one time we were in church, my dad went to university, but everybody's Catholic, like the national religion in Colombia is Catholic.
I think South America, it's all Catholic. Yeah.
It's all Catholic. So there was a church at my dad's university, and we were there with my great grandma, and we were, I guess, in the church when I was almost like playing peekaboo behind my mom's legs with somebody, like kind of just like peeking around, whatever. My mom was like, "Who's that? Like, who are you talking to?" And I just like said the lady with the thing, like. But you're like in a church, so like veils and stuff is like normal, right?
I know, but yeah.
Can you tell me how my mom says that, like, she goes like, oh, who? Turns the corner and we walk through and there's a statue of Virgin Mary with her freaking thing on. And I literally say, that's her. Is that not weird?
I'm gonna throw up.
My mom said,
God.
no, literally my mom was like, well, and isn't that so crazy when I was talking to you about like the divine feminine connection that I like just like recently came into?
Mother Mary, yeah.
And like the whole, so weird. Oh, it gives me freaking chills. So I had that moment like where when my mom told me all that, I was like, that's crazy. Like, where would I have been? And I bring this up because I think to myself, like, where would I have been if somebody came before me and was like, what you're experiencing is something that you can
hone in on.
You hone in, or you shouldn't fear, or whatever. And I wonder, going back to like being a kid, I was a kid.
Innocence, yeah.
Innocence. But even going a step further, I think that kids also lack ego. Like there's
of course, yeah.
And that's really where I think it stems from. I think that when we can get to a point like with psychedelics, like we were talking about, like all that is like your ego falling off, and now you're just who you are.
Just you.
And then from there, you can really get into the framework. Mm-hmm. And there's no biases, and you can see things like you were seeing, like your friends, and like you see them in different lights because you don't have ego trying to give you a bias, or you don't have the memories or the comfort or like just the things that you start to associate that like, because we're constantly lying to ourselves. Like we're constantly trying, because we do love ourselves, right? Like we love ourselves. So we want to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're always going to do what's going to keep us in homeostasis. And that's just how it is. So it's like we're constantly fighting ego.
Fight or flight mode.
Yeah, no, literally. And so it's like when I came out of my trip, actually, I literally remember saying like, oh crap, like all this world is trying to build up our ego. Mm-hmm. Like we're constantly fighting an ego in today's world when it comes to social media, when it comes to our jobs and competition within our jobs, like anything, road rage, like everything is ego. Everything is ego driven. And so there's such a necessity to really take a step back and be like, okay, if my natural purest form is the form that is going to guide me into my purpose, then I need to try and stay in that as much as possible.
The path.
And so what are the things that I can do to stay on that path? And I feel like doing these types of readings and like talking to people that are on your same wavelength, or even going above, talking to people that have more awareness than you. Those are the places where you learn. So do you want to get into, because you were helping me understand my moons and my risings and my all of that. So I love this stuff, very into it, but I don't know a lot about it, if I'm being honest. So do you think you can kind of explain, maybe using like my chart as like an explanation of everything?
Pull it up.
So maybe people can kind of figure out their own charts. Okay, so here's mine.
So you're a Scorpio sun.
Yes.
Which has to do with, growing into yourself. It has to do with ego, not in like a bad way. It's good to have ego in general to an extent. So it says you're a Virgo rising and a Leo moon, which is crazy because I'm a Leo sun, Virgo moon, Scorpio rising.
How is it
so
though?
like
That's crazy.
You're like a hindered soul to me, I feel like. Because we're on opposite spectrums. How you said you like the perspective of black and white, like yin and yang. Because that's crazy.
But it's even crazier that we're sitting here in my pink ass room with my purple ass shit and your black ass shit over there.
Yeah.
And I'm literally talking about duality being like the essence of everything I like to do. Like
it's good.
My essence of everything.
It's
That's
good.
wild,
so
though.
with your Leo moon, I feel like Leo moon is such a great placement. People would say otherwise because the moon is controlled by like water energy, Cancer. That's Cancer placement energy. And you have a fire sign. So it's like with your emotions, you must feel things very like, not dramatically, but dramatically.
Like a lot.
Like a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Like I was just telling you that I like will cry from the smallest things. But I think that probably has to do a lot with how I told you I'm very aware of my mortality and how like I'm just aware that every single moment is like fleeting and like I need to like enjoy this as it is, but like that's drama.
Yes, drama.
That's a little drama.
And then your Virgo ascension is pretty much, I feel like, how people view you. And people think of Virgos, they think organization, which I understand, but it's more so of you don't have time for the fucking games. It's like we need to get this shit done.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then of course your Scorpio sun is just like intense.
That's crazy.
Like anything you do with, especially your Leo, is just like passion with intensity, with a lot of intensity. You know what I mean?
Wait. No, but like I do know what you mean. And if
Yeah.
anybody has ever watched a single episode, they know what you mean. That's crazy though. It's
Yeah.
so wild to me. You know what's even crazier is that going back to kind of like being out of my alignment, like when I was in my past relationship, coming out of my last relationship, I had, like I told you, almost like an identity crisis because my energy was not my own. It was almost like I was trying to fit into every box that other people wanted me to fit in. So I would kind of be in spaces trying to fit where I could.
Yeah.
So I didn't allow myself to be myself. So
Yeah.
coming out of that and being able to now just be myself and fully embracing that, and that being almost like my goal daily is just to try and be as much of myself as possible. That being said, I used to not align at all with like any horoscopes, like anything like that, just because I was so shifted out of my alignment that I completely masked what I was. And now reading all this, I'm like, dude, you can know me without even knowing me.
Here we go. But
Okay.
you've allowed me also in your energy field.
That is
She
true.
has given me full consent to tap into her spirit guides and her guardian angels. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited. So tarot cards. I feel like people have a very like misconceptions about tarot cards and stuff.
Because so with energy, with life, there's good and bad. It's the intention you put out. So when I do cards, it's with light and love and understanding. Now other people can do cards with like spite and lust. And like I'm not saying lust is bad, but if you put into these cards and you give them the energy and the power, and it's a bad power, it's a scary game. I'm not saying that like people think spirituality people are perfect. No, there's good people in spirituality and there's bad people in spirituality, but that's life. So when I do these cards, it comes from a place for me to you of like loving and understanding and like a cohesive balance of energies playing. So this is a tarot deck.
Okay.
I'm very like learning about it, but it's one of my strong suits of how I'm comfortable with. This is an oracle deck, which I am learning about because I like how they clash. Like I like how they complement each other. This is Lakshmi, which I have gotten a dream of her. I never knew who she was. I was told that spirit guides will bring themselves to you when you're ready. And I had a dream.
I have chills, bro.
I had a dream of this goddess. In my dream, she was on this waterfall, like a water fountain, but it was like these things coming out, and she was in the middle with holding heads and money. And I was looking at her, and she told me, "I am here for you." And I woke up and I was like, "Who the fuck is this? Who is this?" And so I drew it out on my notebook, and I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that is, but I know who she looks like." And she had many arms, and she looked like she got out of war and stuff. And so I texted it to everyone, and I was like, "She keeps coming up. Who is she?" And so I bring it to my teacher, my therapist, and she goes, "That's Lakshmi." And I was like, "Who is Lakshmi? I hope I'm not butchering it up because I want to respect it." And she goes, "She is the goddess of women, of divinity, of money, of power, of just like women empowerment."
Wow.
And I was like, she came to my dream. I don't even know who she is. And she was like, that is your guide. And so now on my altar, she's Lakshmi here, Lakshmi there. Oh my gosh,
I have full body chills.
So that is the oracle deck. So it is the goddesses of this practice to complement the tarot deck. Okay. To give it a lighter cushion.
Okay, gotcha. So really just almost, does one almost go more into depth of the other? Like how do you read it to where it balances?
I'm going to do a spread for you.
Okay.
And then this is the last thing I do, one card. Okay. Which is how to coerce this, how to help you within this next 2023.
Okay.
So this is what you need to focus on.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
You guys ready?
Yes, I guess.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm so excited. This is literally my first reading ever, and I have tarot cards, but I think again it was
I hope I get something right. Shit. It's on camera.
Listen, I'm pretty sure with the intentions that you have and the purity that I feel and the connection that I feel already with you, listen, I'm open to all the messages the universe.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to do a weird thing. I'm just going to be quiet, close my eyes.
I'm going to move this out of the way just so
you're good. You're good.
You can see the cards.
And then I'm going to have you split the deck, but okay. I'm just shuffling it.
What is it?
It's the devil. But
Shut the fuck
no.
But what did I just...
That's the ending of something. and this is for 2023. This is for 2023.
But also, did I not tell you about the devil in disguise word that came to mind?
Okay. This is from Manuela. Manuela 2023. Manuela 2023. You see how the cards talk? That's just like, holy fuck. Okay. 2023 for Manuela. Okay, 3.
Is anybody else sweating now?
Oh my god, wow. Okay, I'm gonna have you split this down. Okay? Just split
anywhere?
it, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. This is for 2023. I know I sound redundant, but okay, that's it. This is okay, yeah.
Based off the pictures, it's looking intense.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm excited for you. But let's see what you need to have. Okay. Grounding. Holy
4?
fucking
She pulled a freaking
shit.
4.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Do you not remember the conversation we had
Yesterday.
Look at this fucking card, Anna.
It's
grounding.
a 4.
And it's a 4. Okay.
I'm sweating. It's a 4, and you also have 4 cards. So it is 4-4. Do I take this off? I'm sweating. Bro. Okay, so please tell us what...
Yeah.
Because right now we have the devil...
We have the devil, Knight of Swords, the Magician, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of Swords. So... 8 of Swords.
Disgusting. Can I tell you how I was going to tell you it was 8 before it was 8?
Really? You just intuitively...
I was going to call it out. I was going to call it out.
I always have to count. So for 2023... I can see you starting, or the whole year just being like a just wow. Okay, so I'm gonna break down each card.
Okay.
The devil card does not mean it's a bad card. It means it's a karmic cycle breaking, a rebirth happening. Just like how people say the Tower card is a bad card, I think it's a beautiful card because it's a rebirth. You're starting from the foundation. It looks like, I don't want to say there might be a temptation starting in 2023. Whether that's a person or a thing or like a secret pleasure, I don't know. But it just shows the diversity of feminine and masculine energy. Going into the Knight of Swords, the way I read tarot is not just an individual card. You should look at the card after it, the one after that. So in general, this is a beautiful spread with the Knight of Swords just triumph.
That's what he said. It's a beautiful spread.
It's a beautiful spread. And so I just see 2023 of the year being very magical for you. Your manifestations will come to life. The dreams you do have will happen because you are so driven. Because you are so driven to get there. You have the cups, the pentacles, the wand, and the sword, which is mind, body, soul, and like spirit. So it's all ready and prepared for you. But you need to
stay grounded.
You need to stay grounded. You can't be in the heads in the cloud. You can't do that. You need to be here, be now, be present.
Bro.
For 2023, because a lot of things are going to come towards you as a blessing. But you can't... You can't be in your head about it. You have to know whatever happens, good or bad, is for the better.
Dude.
You have to. Because it's gorgeous. The Magician is one of the most beautiful cards because it just shows balance in everything. Your mind, body, whatever. Everything. But with the 8 of Swords... I can see that within next year you might be scared. You might be afraid not to cut yourself, but you're going to be afraid to move the wrong way because the light is on you, the cameras are on you, and so you're going to be very cautious. But if you ground yourself you're going to know your truth and what you strive to be.
Literally, I want to cry, and it's like, just out of pure, like, it's so much more than I thought. Like, you are hitting things that you don't even know you're hitting. That's crazy to me.
Really?
Yes. Because 100%, like, okay, the devil being almost like maybe a distraction or maybe something like ending, starting, like that's very true, right?
Yeah.
Like going into 2023, my birthday, the 28th, I kept saying like, I felt like that was my rebirth.
Yeah.
Like that was like in 2023. And I've always said going into 2023, I just feel like it's a rebirth. Like I feel like a completely reborn person for that to be there. But also the whole like duality that's there and almost like the resistance that's potentially there is huge for me because I am completely and utterly aware that I'm my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And I'm the only thing that holds myself back. And I'm so aware of that.
It could be a self-reflection, yeah. Because you said masculine, feminine energy. That's literally the epitome of this card, which is chained by the founds of masculine and feminine energy.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
But it's 2023 for you is going to be, you're going in ahead first. Like, you're ready, you're prepared. You've had people in your corner who have prepared you for next year. And it's going to be handed to you like air. Like, you're breathing and it's there. But there's lessons to be learned within that, okay?
Yes.
Be grounded, you know?
No, so go back to this one real quick.
The Knight of Swords.
Yeah, can you explain to that one to me one more time?
So the arcana, which is like the swords, the cups and everything, the wands, the cups represent emotion. Obviously the coins represent money and materialistic things. The wands represent I believe the spirituality, and the swords represent the mind. So we're just showing you that you are going into 2023 like fucking prepared on a horse, on a white horse for that matter, with a sword in the sky. It's like you had a mission, because it is the night. You had a mission and you're doing it. You're going head first and you're prepared. You're prepared. And so stop thinking you're not prepared.
This is like just too like exactly what I need. Like, remember how I was saying, like, there's things that I know, but then my spirit guide will literally be like, you already know this, but let me tell you anyway.
Yes.
This is literally like, I can almost feel that whole like higher self spirit guide being like,
it's true. I mean, did you not see these cards fly out?
I was going to ask you, does that normally happen?
When I asked her for consent spiritually this morning, even for her energy, it's because I asked her spirit guides and her angels to allow them to speak through me. I am just a vessel.
The fact, you know what's even crazier is the fact that this is the message that I feel like my spirit, like my higher self
been telling you.
has been like fucking wringing my neck with. Like to the point where I know that I'm my biggest resistance, and I know that I hold myself back and I overthink. I know that I know now my purpose, and I know that my purpose is to spread my message and to allow others to spread their message in order to inspire them to grow into the best version of themselves. Like mind, body, spirit balance, that has been the essence of everything. Even from my old company, well, my training company's name is Metatron Wellness.
Metatron. Wow.
Metatron is my spirit, is my archangel, like my guardian angel. Like when
Metatron he's amazing.
Well, and he's like all about creation. Yeah. And he is associated with
Purple
8.
And 8. Yeah.
Which is so crazy. And then it's like going into the magician, obviously, like I was saying, like that whole balancing has always been like the most important thing ever. Like even with all of this is coming back to I, right? Because it's like, if any of that is out of balance, like you have to come back to I, and you have to be uniform, like you have to be whole.
Yeah.
So that to me was just like, whoa, like, whoa. And I'm not gonna lie, I have a book that has this image on the cover. I've never opened it.
Teachings. It's just, it's such a beautiful card.
And I never really even realized like what it was, but I immediately like is this a 1?
Yeah, that's Arcana. That's the first card of the deck. Yeah.
And 1 is I, and I literally, when you pulled it out, I identified as the magician. Like I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm the magician because of my manifestations, because of just intuitively, like me making shit up as it flies out.
Yeah.
But like the fact that I connected that, and I is 1 in my book.
Yes.
So weird. And then this 8 I associate with the podcast, which 100%, even splitting the deck, I was going to make the joke of like, well, hope I do this right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, there is no wrong.
There's no wrong. There is no wrong.
Bro.
It's a beautiful spread. I'm excited for what 2023 is going to give you.
And then grounding
look
being
into this
4.
one really fast.
Do it, please.
Because I might want to pull another card because I kind of want to see what happens, but sometimes I don't get that privilege.
Play out the reality show of my life.
Here we go. Eight of Swords.
And the fact that the 4 is grounding just really blows my mind, especially when grounding has always been, I don't want to say like my issue, but I always joke about like my head being in the clouds because I always like to get ahead of myself.
Wait till you hear about the conversation Kandyce and I had yesterday.
No.
Just give me a second. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Okay.
Not the queen.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Queen of Cups emotions. So that makes more sense. Okay. Because, yeah, okay. So, whatever this is, okay? Good, great, amazing. Something. Back to emotionally stable again. I don't know this. Okay. So, yes, the 8 of Swords, like I said, the self, scared, swords going down, not even the swords going up. You see how the knight is, it's a triumph,
stagnant.
it's
ready.
ready.
Like holding me down.
No, Mira.
No, I meant this one.
Oh, this one, yes. So it's in the ground.
Yeah.
It's hard. You can't move. You're blindfolded. You feel like you can't breathe. You can't like be your full authentic self within that card. And with the Queen of Cups being right after it, I have a sense of don't dim your emotions this year. Next year, don't do it. Don't subdue yourself into a box like you said because your emotions are valid, your emotions are strong. You got the Queen of fucking Cups. Your emotions are there. But I'm not going to say something might happen. Something will happen to where your emotional, mental are going to be in clash. But that's where the grounding card comes in. But just know, whatever that is, family, friends, self, that your emotional maturity, it's a new lesson. Just know that it's a new lesson. You have blessings this whole year, the new year, but your emotional maturity will indeed, you'll get trial. There's trial.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about like what the lessons you don't learn, you're bound to repeat. Mm-hmm. And my abandonment issues that kind of came up with my last relationship kind of kept coming up in different forms with my therapist that I told you about. Mm-hmm. Something came up where it tested me in that regard. With my brother, something came up when tested me in that regard again. So I definitely feel like there's
you have to trust yourself. Emotions are good. The mind is a powerful thing. Okay, don't slip into that thought of what if or I could do better. Don't be me. Mira, don't be me because I just told you that's what I do. Don't do that. Because there's a reason why next year is going to be your year, but it's also going to be a rude awakening for your, like I just said, reiterating mental and emotional state. Because with these blessings come responsibility, and you need to make sure you're nurturing yourself so you don't lose it. Okay? Because Queen of Cups.
That's just so, like, when you are saying these things, it resonates so heavy. What was that?
But this battery is getting low.
Water.
Okay.
Because they just, like, fucking took the life out of me.
I cannot.
Thank you.
That is just so crazy. I've never had a tarot card reading, and I never thought that, to be 100% honest, I never thought it would connect so insanely.
Well, I'm glad you let me. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much for letting me tap you into your energy.
Listen, something that I feel very confident about is allowing people into my energy, because I now understand that I can allow people in that want to be here in my space and read me without feeling like it's going to take away from me or harm me in any way. Because again, the universe is here for me. Yeah. So any messages that I was going to receive today, I was meant to receive.
It's for you.
But can I tell you that, like, as somebody who literally barely ever has any type of like deja vu or anything, I've recently, like over the last week.
Catching up with your timeline.
Girl, that's actually kind of crazy considering that, like, the tarot card and everything, and then this morning talking about, like, feeling like my timelines were touching. Mm-hmm. Weird. Which also makes sense because I feel like I was so suppressed for such a long time energetically and I feel like I boosted up that it would also make sense that it'd be catching up. Mm-hmm. So wild. That's so crazy. So crazy. I can't wait to take a picture of this spread. So how often do you do tarot cards? Do you do them for yourself? Like, can you read yourself?
I cannot do it for myself.
No, ma'am. You can't, like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I can't see myself outward.
Girl, we can't even see our own content.
I know.
And therefore, how are we
So,
supposed, how are we
Yeah,
supposed
because
to?
I'll do a spread and I'll be like, nah, it's not for me. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it
yeah.
looks like a bad spread. Never mind. It's
You're like,
not for me.
I wasn't there all the way. I have to do it
Exactly.
again.
So yeah, exactly. So I'll trick myself, but I never do it for myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I never do it for myself.
Wow. Well, you gave me such a powerful freaking message today.
I'm glad. It
No,
was so good.
seriously. I'm so grateful. And you have to come back on the podcast and we have to talk about so many other, there's so many topics that I want to just dive in
It's like a
really
tree
in
branch.
depth.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted you guys to get to know Kandyce and kind of what she does and realize the genuine human being that is behind the tarot card reading. Realize the genuine human being that's behind all the spiritual concepts that we're talking about. That we're real life people that are on different paths, different journeys, but these journeys ultimately lead to
the same place.
To the same place. Or at least, we're hoping it goes all to the same place, a place of happiness, a place of fulfillment, all back to I.
All back to I.
All back to I. So, Kandyce, can you please direct us to your socials and
Yes.
let us know how we can connect with you?
So all of my social media is at Kandyce Jewel. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, KANDYCE Jewel, JEWEL. Shout out my mom for the cool name. Middle
Cute.
name.
Cute. That is really cute.
That is her real middle name.
That is my real middle name.
No, I love that. That's
Yeah,
so cute.
period.
It's so cute. I don't even have a middle name.
You don't have a middle
I don't
name?
have a middle name. I don't.
Things to talk about in the next
I
podcast.
know.
That's why her parents did not give her a middle name.
To dig into my mommy and daddy issues, maybe? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, we all got them. Let's be
I'm like,
honest.
you're with the right.
Yeah,
Listen.
we're here. I'm queer.
She's here. Yeah.
Cameras.
Yeah, we're done. We're done here. She's emotionally, mentally drained from the tarot card reading.
It takes a lot out of me, so I'm probably gonna go to the bathroom and put water on top of my head. It's like a fun little thing you do because it cleanses.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything, so now taking this, is there anything that I should do or anything that I should take
This
from
is what
this?
you need to do. This is out of your control. You ground. All
Okay.
2023, you ground yourself.
Bro, I'm freaking excited.
I'm freaking excited. We'll see you guys next year. Hopefully I didn't fuck up. Nothing happens that I read. Delete this entire video.
But that's the thing. It's like literally from the bottom of my heart, and you guys both know me at this point energetically enough to know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bullshitting when I say I knew I was gonna get this.
That's so crazy.
You know what I mean? Like without knowing what I was gonna get, as you are saying this, I'm like, I knew it because this is everything that I already have been needing to hear. Like this is the message that I have been getting. And this is something I've been neglecting purposefully because the grounding takes a lot of work.
But thank you for letting me because even as a tarot reader, no free brand.
No, no free brand.
Even as a tarot reader, in me doing this, having people like you and it actually resonating gives me a sense of like hope of that I'm on the right path because even though social media is social media, I'm fucking as lost as anyone else in the world with what I want to do. So this is something I'm passionate about and knowing that I can actually have people like you who make me trust myself, which is such a big thing. So thank you for letting me be here with you. And Anna, I love you guys both because this was so reaffirming to me and myself and my future for this.
That's such a beautiful thing. And like, we're all getting something from any interaction that we're in, and that's such a beautiful thing to know that we both get to gain something from this.
Humankind's be kind. Always.
Always.
Always. Anna
Oh
still
my
wanted
God.
to
I know,
cry.
honestly, we could honestly keep going.
Cries every episode, so like,
I literally do. I'm like about to freak out about this for sure. But yeah, I want to have you back on
Of course.
for sure.
3 hours away.
No,
Stride, no
literally,
big deal.
we have so much to talk about. You have so much insight to share with people, and I love being able to share your message and share the fact that we are all just figuring it out. We don't have it figured out. We're not perfect. As much as I want to have everything figured out, the cards don't lie.
Yeah.
We all got stuff to work on. And it's nice to know that I'm now at a level of self-awareness where I see that there is adversity in my future and I'm welcoming to it.
Yeah, because that's growth.
Because I know that by this time next year, this will be a different card. This is going to be handled.
Period.
This is going to be something that I'm going to encounter and I'm going to come face to face with it. I'm going to say, oh, I knew you were coming and I'm freaking prepared.
Grounded. You're going to be grounded for it. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's what you need. Yeah, exactly. All that weight
Well, you couldn't see my feet, but I was grounding my feet before I punched.
all the working out is gonna be worth it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited. Thank you so much again.
Of course, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to come back.
Okay, well, that was another episode of the Manuela Method. And please check out all of Kandyce's social medias. Please go find the Manuela Method on IG and on TikTok, as well as Manuela Velez on Instagram, so we can stay connected, we can stay friends, and you guys can let me know who else we need to have on the podcast. Kandyce has already come back on, so you don't have to message me about that. But other people, we're definitely open to. Okay, bye guys. See ya.
Bye.